Yes, I am.
Please, first let's start with some education for all of us. For appointees, people who are appointed to public office, when you say declare your asset, exactly what are you asking them to do?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. First and foremost, the rationale behind the asset declaration is necessary. You know, public office holders, they manage public resources or what we will call public funds. And history has taught us that most of the times, some of these monies are misappropriated for their personal use. So, as a control measure, one of the requirements of public office holders, which is also entrenched in the Constitution of Ghana, specifically Article 286, provides that before a certain level or types of public officers take office, they should declare their assets and liabilities. These public officers include the president, the vice president, the speaker, the members of parliament, the ministers, the chief justice, the justices of the superior courts, the chief directors, up to a director level. And at 550 provides that even if you are not a director, but your salary is equal to or higher than that of a director in the civil service, then you are required to declare your assets and liabilities before taking office, every 4 years, and when you leave office. Now, what does that entail? It entails you filling a form provided by the Auditor General, stating in details your assets that you own, the value and where they are located, your liabilities, that is loans that you have taken or monies which have been lent to you by other people, and you submit this to the Auditor General. What then is done in some jurisdictions is that the Auditor General does not only accept the form that you bring, but goes ahead to even verify the declaration. The verification here means compare what you have written on the forms to the physical assets or the liabilities. For instance, if you say you have a car, there are documents showing your title. If you say you have a land, the land title, or the house, the title, etc., are usually included in the declaration and verified. So that is more or less what we call the asset declaration. And anytime we talk about assets, let's remember to add liabilities, because assets are quite visible, but liabilities are not. So if before winning election you borrowed 100 million Ghana cedis to do your campaign, and within 6 months you pay it off, you may still be staying in the same house, you may still be driving the same car, but people don't know that you have become better off by 100 million. But if you spend 100 million to acquire assets, definitely we will see a new building, or we see a new car, or we see some other properties around you. So these two are all supposed to be declared before those office holders are mentioned, they take office. And every 4 years, they are supposed to repeat that, and also the date they leave office. Thank you.
Interesting. So you're saying those who qualify, please go through the list for us again.
The list starts from the president,
Okay.
the vice president, the speaker of parliament, the members of parliament, the ministers of state, the judiciary, the superior courts, the members of the superior courts, the high court judges, etc., chief directors, directors in civil service, as well as public service. I hope you know there's difference between civil service and public service. Many people
Yes.
don't know that. When we say public service, we are referring to the mathematically the universal assets, the civil service, judicial service, audit service, police service. They all come together to form public service. So the law provides under Act 550 that if you are not in the civil service, you are in any of the other public services, no matter what they call you or whatever your rank is, if your salary is equal to that of a director in civil service, then you are required to declare your assets. For instance, before leaving audit service, I realized if you are a principal auditor in audit service, your salary may be equal to that of a director in civil service. So a principal auditor may have to declare his assets and liabilities.
So when your earnings increase to the level of a director, then you have that obligation
Yes, of not just a director in the civil service,
in the civil service.
because
Okay.
a director in education service may be getting more than the director in civil service. A
Okay.
director in maybe GRA may be earning far more than the director in civil service. So the law didn't say a director. It said when your salary is equal to the salary or greater than the salary of a director in the civil service.
What do you declare?
You declare all your assets. That is, if you have a land, you have to declare it. But if you have a house, then you declare it together because it will be the land and the building. If you have any business interest, you declare it. If you have investments in the form of shares in some organization or treasury bills, or and if you have valuables like gold or gold, those ornaments or all those properties are supposed to be declared. And then you go to your liabilities. Liabilities to if you have taken loan from someone or from your bankers or you bought things on credit, if you are yet to pay, you have not yet paid, you declare all that in the asset on the asset and liability declaration form.
Okay. I realize that you don't mention things for those of us who don't have land, house, perhaps not a car or anything. Um, if I am appointed today and I have TV, fridge, gas cooker, a bed, can I declare those?
All those household chattels are listed there. If you go to at 550, it's a long list. Almost everything you can find in the house, which doesn't make sense. In many jurisdictions, they normally put a value on the items to say above this. Otherwise, the document becomes too much. So many times you find people attaching lists of other items which cannot be accommodated by the declaration form. I think that may have to be reviewed so that it is we deal with what is material.
I see. I see. So, under our arrangement, every household, most household items are listed in the form.
Almost all of them. The last time I looked at the form, I was laughing. I was like, why all this? And it doesn't make sense. So that also requires a change, but that is not the major or the most or the grievous weaknesses of our asset and liability declaration system. The biggest problems or challenges there is that they are not physically verified. So even if you say you have maybe 10 bars of gold in your house, for all you know, you are only aiming at now acquiring it. And the same thing I talked about, what we refer to as anticipatory declaration, where you have a plot of land by your house, and you say this plot, I'll put 10 story building on it. So you declare that before coming to office. You just write that, oh, that land is has a 10-story building on it. Since it is not verified, if you're able to abuse your office building a 10-story building within the 4 years or 8 years you are in office, when you are called to question how you got that building, you may only say, bring my declaration before starting work. And you say, I bought this, I built this long ago. So that's why I said there's the need for the verification, physical verification, not verification of the declaration form. Then also there must be consequences. You realize that year in, year out, people don't declare. Some have been judges, some have been chief directors, etc. They don't respond to that legal requirement that they should declare their assets and liabilities. And so they get away with it. A few of them have been reported to the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. And let me explain that. Whereas Article 286 requires that the declaration is supposed to be done to the Auditor General, he doesn't take any punitive measures or complaints relating to the declaration. According to Article 287, any complaint of not declaring or not declaring properly or any misconduct or misbehavior relating to asset declaration of a public officer is supposed to go to the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. So that is where the complaint is. Over the years, in my considered opinion, the Commission has been very lenient and treated offenders with kid gloves. It's like go and sin no more. So the impunity has continued until today that now we can gladly say that yes, there are consequences for that misbehavior.
What is the consequence for not declaring your assets when you're supposed to do that?
Under the law, especially the Act 550, it does not prescribe any specific punishment. It says that the commission should act as they think right or something like that. And all that they have done in the past is to say, go and declare it. However, it is my considered opinion that if it is said that you must declare your asset before acquiring office, that is the constitution, and somebody is in office for months and years and has not declared, he or she is occupying public office unconstitutionally. So the logical step to be taken to correct that should be go home. That is the reason why when it came out that even though the president has even added administrative instructions to his appointees and say declare by 31st of March and they defaulted, I said you should just wipe all of them. You should just clear them. So
You think the
there
president
has
should have
not been
fired everybody who failed to meet that deadline? They should all have.
those that is my recommendation. But I'm not faulting what he has done because what he has done has never happened in the past. No public officer has been sanctioned the way the president is sanctioning his appointees. And I raised my thumb for him on that, to be honest with you, because I found it ridiculous and unacceptable that even chief justices, people who have been sentencing people to life imprisonment and death and etc., who claim that they interpret and apply the law, they did not declare. Most of them, in fact, and when I was leaving office, I was producing a list to publish to Ghanaians and tell Ghanaians how lawless even the judiciary
Oh,
are.
you were working.
In fact,
You were working on a list.
yes, actually, I was working on a list to produce and tell them. I even had the list. So what I did was that to be sure that I don't make a mistake, I wrote to them to say my record shows that you have not declared your assets and liabilities, confirmed or denied. And it is in that process that I was asked to go on leave. Otherwise, I was going to publish it for Ghanaians to know how lawless the public officers have been, including the judiciary, the executive, and etc. Oh.
Wow. Because typically when they talk about asset declaration, our attention is always on the political appointees. You're saying that the culprits go beyond the political appointees. It is everywhere. You are mentioning even judges and
In fact,
chief justice.
specifically, the law mentioned the chief justice, the justice of the superior court, that is, high court judges, court of appeal judges, and Supreme Court judges. They are all supposed to declare their assets and liabilities. And even if you are a circuit court judge, let me make this clarification. If you are a circuit court judge and your salary is equal to that of a director in the civil service, you are supposed to declare your assets and liabilities.
I see. In this case, the president says you have up to, is it today, 7th? Tomorrow. Tomorrow,
Today
to,
is
yes, okay. Okay. Oh, today is 5th. So tomorrow is 7th. Up to 7th to declare, or else
yes,
you'll be fired. Good enough?
yes. Fantastic, because you know that I understand what I said. It also implications for the president. You know, if he get out, if he get to dismiss all of them outright, he has to go through a laborious process again now to replace them, which by itself consumes his time and etc. So he tempering justice with mercy, I think, is a good move. But then he must ensure that he doesn't continue giving them a leeway. If after tomorrow they have not declared, he should just do what he promised. And I'm sure he will do it. Because it has never happened that somebody has lost even 1 day's salary for not declaring his assets and liabilities before. So to say that those who defaulted 3 months' salaries are not going to be paid, I think is a lot and must be commended.
Let me conclude with you by asking, I know you haven't seen, have you seen a code of conduct?
No, I've not seen it, but I've heard of it.
Okay.
And, and I think it is also another good move, but I would have preferred, this is my preference, I'm not the president, I would have preferred that those conditions stated on collecting gift and behavior in public offices are incorporated into the conduct of public office holders bill and passed into law, so that public officers are not held to some standard only during the tenure of President Mahama. Because if the next president comes, he or she may decide to abide by those codes or put them aside. So I wish that he takes the next step to pass it into law so that it will be binding on public office holders. But I think the steps he's taking so far are in good direction.
Great. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much for speaking to us, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's Mr. Yao Dormelevo, who is former Auditor General, speaking to us on the matter of the Declaration of Assets and the Code of Conduct for Public Officers, especially those under President Mahama. So currently, under the regime for the next 4 years, you are supposed to go by this Code of Conduct or you suffer losing your position. Now, as for the Declaration of Assets, you have up to May 7. May 7 is tomorrow to declare those assets. Go and pick those forms and fill it. Fill it with everything. Your utensils. Make sure you mark everything. Make sure you mark everything.
Your what?
Utensils, everything. They say that's he feels, and he was clear about that. He feels that the Declaration of Asset regime currently should be reviewed. Because he feels some of the things are necessary. Some of the things are necessary. So if it is there.
Hey.
They said the form is already there. So the form lists
the items for you.
So if Apotoria is not there, you don't
have to.
Yeah.
But fridge be
I'm sure. I'm sure a fridge is in there. But you see, the interesting thing he also says is that smart people who walk into office, are very good thieves. When they walk into office, I was saying smart, then I realized that the real word I should have used is thief. So very good thieves who walk into office can then say, okay, this is what I intend to get when I get into office. So I will build a house. So I'll put it in the declaration that I have a house when I don't have a house. Do you see? But because there's no, the law, the structure currently does not insist on verification